One, two, one, two. All right, let's roll.
Welcome. You're listening to the Saddle Up Podcast,
where we discuss everything related to UTRGV athletics, past or present. We'll catch up with old teammates, friends, and take you down memory lane
with exclusive interviews.
This is the Saddle Up Podcast,
the voice of your covered walkway streets. So dope.
This is gonna be awesome.
Stay tuned for new episodes every week.
From Bronx Village to the Field House,
we'll cover it all.
Hell yeah, dude. Carpe diem.
So saddle up and let's go.
Let's go. Saddle up, partner.
Hey guys, welcome to another great episode of Saddle Up Podcast. G's in the house. What's up, G?
What's up, man? I thank you so much for introducing me this time. I know you forget about me a lot, man. You're the big man on the camera, 6'10" guy, you know, big guy on campus at UTPA. So everybody remembers Matt, but nobody remembers 6 foot guy.
Oh no, they remember you after 2 seasons and how many countless episodes we've done. They already know who you are. They're the reason why you come back. So it has nothing to do with me. I don't need to introduce you. So, but who I do need to introduce this week is Rod. Rod, you are joining us. Why are you here? And I want everybody to tell you, I want you to tell them why you are here and your affiliation with G.
Rodney McClanahan. Rodney McClanahan from the good old Brownsville, Texas. Welcome today, man.
Appreciate you, bro. Thank y'all, man. I appreciate y'all, dude. Yeah.
Hey, so tell us the origin, man. Like where you grew up here in Brownsville. You went to high school here. You said that you had dreams in elementary of perhaps chasing a D1 career. What what were the sports that you fell in love with? Everybody knows, man, you're a big fitness guy. Actually, everybody knows you here in the Valley, but kind of we know more about Rod, man. We want to know about the roots. If you want to start kind of how you fell in love with the fitness industry.
Absolutely, man. So this goes way back, but I'm a Brownsville born and raised. Here, went to elementary, went to Russell, then I went on to Stell Middle School, graduated from Pace High School in 2004.
Viking, baby.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. We're coming up on that 20-year reunion next year, man. I can't believe it already, but I'm from Brownsville, man. I did leave for a few years, you know what I mean? I went to school here for a bit. Things didn't work out for whatever reasons at the time, and then ended up moving to Houston for a bit, came back, finished up school here, and then I had the chance to go to grad school. So I moved to Pensacola, Florida for a few years, but the goal was always to come back and serve the community in Brownsville in some way or form. I just didn't know what it was going to be. But going back to the fitness thing, it actually started at the age of 10. And just like, I guess a bunch of the dudes and people that are in the fitness world now, there's someone along the way that kind of has some type of influence on you, or they impact you in a way. And that was actually my dad at the time. And my dad's mechanic shop was in our backyard. So him and his buddies, they had a bench, and then they had that arm blaster thing. It's like a strap that goes on the neck that locks your arms in the front. And you do like curls from there to kind of concentrate on the biceps and stuff like that, and I always looked at my dad because my dad's always been pretty physically fit because of the labor work that he does, so watching them at that age, and I guess there was some form of conversation at the time at the age of 10, where I was like, where my dad saw that I liked it. He was really good friends with Tito Mata because he was one of our next door neighbors at the time, and we joined his gym. And from there, I remember walking into that gym the first day, man, and that was my first exposure to a gym, to formal fitness at the time, whatever it was. And you walk into this place, and it's this little industrial warehouse garage space. There's no AC. You got Van Halen blasting in the background. Everyone's wearing a string top. It's loud. It's dirty as hell. It's hot in there. And
that's your Mecca, though. That was your Mecca.
Yeah, that's what it was called.
Yeah,
that's what it was called. It was actually called the Mecca back in the day, man. And So that was my first exposure to fitness and what a gym should be, was at the age of 10 was that, you know what I mean? And I'm forever grateful for it, man, because a lot of the deeper roots of Hard Knocks and what it is and kind of our core values and stuff like that always go back to that kind of setting, the hard work, the hard effort that's kind of done in those types of gyms, you know, I mean, more of a hardcore type gym at the time, you know,
Rod,
so that's kind of where the stuff.
I'm just super stoked. I'm sitting here listening to your story, and I'm so stoked that you're joining us today, because given your fitness background, I am really tired of carrying the show and lifting it up. And so, now that you're here and you're a professional, strength and conditioning, you own 2 gyms, and we'll get into the locations here in shortly, but thank you for helping taking a lot of the weight off of my shoulders and carrying Jim. I mean, and carrying G. So thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, first of all, Rob, in order to carry anything, you have to exercise and actually be strong, and actually have some shoulders on you. And I don't know if Matt's ever picked up, a weight since college.
Well, dude, he told me his height, dude. So if he's 6'10", 280 or whatever it is, dude, that's a typical strong man build right there, dude. So he should actually be on World's Strongest Man, dude. So we could get you there, Matt. You just got to show up, bro. That's it.
That might be the problem. That might be the problem. I might be busy that day when I got to show up. So.
Hey, here's a quick story, man. And it's crazy because Tito Mata is a staple here, Matt. I got to introduce you to him. Staple. Staple. Hey, every time we say staple, we got to do 10 push-ups.
Let's go.
Tito's a big time guy, and of course, it was an icon here in the Valley. And what's crazy is, Matt, the year that my freshman year going to my sophomore year, Matt, do you remember when those coaches kind of brought me into the office and said, "Hey, what's going on, man? Why are you stronger?
Yeah.
Why'd you get big?" You remember that?
Yeah, I remember.
Accused me of some things, a little bit.
I remember.
I spent every single day at the Mecca that summer.
Yeah, buddy.
Man. Yeah. I mean, it was like Tito looked at me and goes, "Hey, man, we're going to get you ready. You're going to step on that floor this year." And I remember he just said, "Man, come by." And you know how gracious he was, man. We were college students, no money. Yeah. He said, "You don't have to pay a thing, man. You're a college athlete. You come in, you work out, you get yourself stronger." That's the kind of guy he is. And you know what? This dude's got the same values, man. That's crazy.
That is awesome.
It's not
good dude, man.
And he's carrying that the way you carry me, Matt. This guy's carrying the fitness community. He's carrying it,
man.
You carry the show, G. I'm not gonna front. I rib you, but yeah, you definitely carry your weight.
No, there's no doubt about that. Speaking of, man, so we're there. Talk to us about, obviously we want to. There's some big things going on at UTRGV, man. We're transitioning into football. I mean, UTRGV is getting ridiculous, right? Huge. And you were part of that UTB. Usually we do UTPA former staff, but we definitely, man, that connection with UTB is there as well because it's UTRGV now as well. Yeah. So talk to us about that time, man, when you're at UTB. What degree you got? I believe you're in exercise science. What were your influences there? There's some great people, man, that we want to give shout outs to. I want to kind of talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, man. I was telling G when we spoke earlier on the phone that I'm real big on gratitude, man. I love making gratitude posts on my Instagram and Facebook and stuff like that about those who have helped me get to the point where I'm at now. You know what I mean? And I'm not a big fan. Like one thing I'll go to mention as well too. I've never been a big fan of people or things that are said in a way where it's like I'm self-made. You know what I mean? Like somewhere along the way, man, there's always like someone gives you a nudge, dude. Someone gives you some type of inspiration or influence or something along the way, dude. And those years at UTB were some of the most critical years in the development of me as a professional, as a student of my profession, because that's what I am for the rest of my life. And I'll always be a student of my profession and what I do. And I'm always going to try to be the best that I can be. You know what I mean? So having that growth mindset in that way a lot of that was learned during those years at UTB. So I moved to Houston because I wanted to go to culinary school, man. I was going to go to the Art Institute. I love to cook and stuff like that, but fitness was still my thing. I was working at a gym while I lived in Houston. So my sister, which has worked at the university for, I think, 20 plus years at this point, Yanetta, love you. She's one of my biggest motivators in life, man, as well too. And she calls me one day. This is like 2005, 2006 at the time. And she's like, hey, they're offering an exercise science degree here now. And I was like, well, what the hell is that? I've never heard of that before. I wasn't into school. School wasn't an option for me coming out of high school at all, dude, you know? So she's like, I think you need to move back. You love fitness. I think this is the perfect way for you to get your foot back in the door in academia and stuff, you know? So I was like, all right, fine. I moved back about 2 months later, and I met with an advisor at the time, and went to my first class, man. And it might've been, I forgot what it was. It was like an X-Phys class or something like that at the time. And I instantly became the most competitive version of myself that I had ever been, man, because now I'm taking what I love on the outside and I'm learning the physiology, the science, the methods and stuff behind what it is that I do in the gym and how I could apply that to help others around me. You know what I mean? So it just like, it was like a switch was on at that point, you know what I mean? And from there, every professor that I met along the way, from Dr. Bailey, rest in peace, Dr. Wittenberg, rest in peace as well too, man. They were a lot of my first professors that I had in the exercise science program at the time. They really helped mold me into becoming the ideal student where I would eventually go to grad school and become very successful in grad school as well too, you know? Yeah, man, it was, I mean, the classes were awesome. The level of academics that I got there, man, I always go back and I said grad school was a piece of cake. And I remember a lot of that I got to give back to Dr. K, man, Dr. Murat Karabulut.
Yes, sir. We'll send this link to him so he can watch it,
man. So he's one of the most influential men in my life, man. And I was actually in his first class, his first year, his first day at UTB at the time. He had just gotten done with his PhD and stuff like that. And this was the first job that he got. And he was just like this real, like, hard-nosed dude, very strict, very stern. A lot of people didn't like him in the class. And there was actually like conversations in the class, man, where there was individuals, I'm not going to say names or anything like that, but they would complain about, hey, sir, well, the work is too hard and it's too intense and I'm just going to become a coach. And I would raise my hand and I was like, hey, I'm good with this. Like, let's keep going. You know what I mean? Like I want to be pushed in this stuff. You know what I mean? And he was the one, man, that just really opened up my eyes to eventually becoming a certified strength coach at that time, and kind of implanting the kind of the seed and the push to eventually want to go to grad school as well too, you know what I mean? But my time at UTB, man, so it's kind of full circle there, you know what I mean? Because I worked for campus recreation as well too. And that was a huge stepping stone for me, a big development piece as a professional and as a student as well, because we had just gotten Lori Braden at the time. She was coming from Central Michigan University. She had gotten the campus rec director position, and then they brought on Annette Livas, which is at UTRGV now, and she was our fitness director at the time. And we were still at what was called the Scorpion Body Shop at the time. So the Scorpion Body Shop was the facility that we used for the fitness center at the time, which was an old bar. It was an old like dance bar and grill, whatever it was, that my parents worked at back in the day.
Oh, wow.
They turned that into a gym. That was our campus recreation gym at the time. And she was brought on as we transitioned into the state-of-the-art place that we eventually moved into a year or two after that. And they were the ones that were like, all right, Rod, you're doing good as an employee. You're a fitness associate at the time. You teach some group fitness classes and stuff like that. You're about to get done with your exercise science degree. What's next? And I was like, well, that's it. I'm done. I mean, I'm getting a bachelor's degree, which I never thought I would get. And I don't know. I mean, I'll probably just be a personal trainer or something like that at the time. And Lori and Annette both were like, no, you're going to grad school. And I was like, master's degrees are for like people that are smart, man. And I'm not that dude, you know what I mean? So here I go again, man. Got that little nudge, got that little push. Just like I said, it's those stepping stones along the way. There's those vital points in life, man, where I've always had someone there to kind of guide me to the next step. You know what I mean? And they got me prepped up for this conference I went to that's called NERSA. And I interviewed with a few schools, and University of West Florida in Pensacola took a risk on me, dude. And they brought me on, man. So I was fortunate enough to become a graduate assistant there for 2 awesome years, and got a grad school paid for, and got a lot of experience having to manage the fitness facility that we had there. So yeah, ended up work. What was that?
You got your undergrad from UTB, you got your master's from Pensacola. You come back, right? You teach for one of our public schools here in Brownsville. And then, you know, one of the conversations that we had was, I go, hey man, you know, I taught so that I could, you know, save money to do what I really love to do, what I want to do, you know, and you're still a teacher. So talk to us about that, man. Like, what are you doing now? How do you know, what was it like, man, trying to save money and trying to start your first gym?
Yeah, well, so that's one of the most interesting sides of the story, man, I got done with grad school. I absolutely knew that I wanted to come back home. And I remember having the talk with my boss at the time. Her name is Jennifer Johnson. She's one of my biggest motivators in life, man, as well, too, a big mentor of mine. And she's like, so what's the plan? You're about to get done. You're moving back home. And I was like, I'm just going to help my mom open up the second restaurant of the one that she has. I'm going to put fitness on the side for a bit. I'll never forget what she said, man. She's like, look, you're great at what you do. Don't leave it for too long. And I left with that, man. I moved back home. I started to train with one of my friends. You might know him, Albert Alanis. And
sure, absolutely. Yeah, Frontier. One of the best coaches in the Valley, man.
Yeah, man. He's an amazing dude, man. So he's like, hey, Rod, I could help you possibly get a job, man. And we trained together for like a year or so, man, and we trained at 5 a.m. and we would have some awesome conversations at that time about life and just where things were going and stuff like that. And he knew that the gym was the dream, but I just didn't know how to go about it. I had no funds at the time. I was fresh out of grad school. I had just moved home. I was living at home with my parents at the time. So he's like, look, dude, let's get you into IDEA. I could get you a coaching job there and stuff like that. And then I think you'll be able to teach an anatomy and physiology course your second year that you're here. And you'll be able to develop the kind of the whole curriculum for it and stuff like that. So that was pretty enticing to me, because that's more along my lines of what I like and do, you know. So taught there for a year. I coached cross country, I coached track, and but I was brought on as a special education teacher, though, man, which I have no education background at all. It was an amazing year where I learned a lot about being extremely patient with kids. But I remember I got done with that first year. I had signed my contract for the next year already. So I was going back to teach. I was vacationing in California. I was on the road with my family, and Albert sends me it was a text, and he's like, hey, Rod, I think I found the spot. And he sends me a photo of an industrial warehouse space. And I looked at the photo, man, right? And I'm just on vacation. I'm supposed to go back to school that following August or whatever it is. And I called my principal at the time about 5 minutes after that photo was sent. And then I had to let her know that I wasn't going back, man. I know it's not the most professional way, but I was pretty set on that I had found the place, and then I was going to follow my dreams at that point. So I called my principal at the time and just said, hey, unfortunately, I'm not going back this year. I'm going to follow kind of my lifelong dream, and I'm going to open up a gym. So as soon as I got back, man, it was just boots on the ground. I had saved $7,000 that year, and all $7,000 went straight into that facility that year, man. And we opened up our doors in August of 2012.
Nice. And where can they find you on Instagram? What's the handle?
Instagram is Hard Knocks Brownsville, and there's also the Hard Knocks Edinburgh one. My personal one is Hard Knocks 2012, and I post a lot of personal things, but there's a lot of the older Hard Knocks stuff on there.
Okay.
So if people really want to get a grasp on like kind of the story behind it and how we've evolved as a facility, they could go back to mine and they'll see a lot of the cool stuff on there, man.
Awesome.
Yeah. Hey, Matt, it's unbelievable, what they do, for the community as well. I mean, I know that, there's obviously a membership and people can come in and be members of the Hard Knocks Brownsville and Hard Knocks Edinburgh. But what's unreal is the ties and the work that they do in the community. And Rod, if you want to kind of expand on how important that is to your culture in that industry, how important it is to build that family, that culture of family, and that culture of giving back to the community.
Yeah, man. So that's what it is, man. That's what, like, when people ask me what is Hard Knocks, I mean, that's it. G, exactly what you mentioned right now, man. It's about the community within our doors. It's about serving the community on the outside of the doors. Any form, any way that we could help, man. If someone's in a bind, if someone's in a pinch, our place will always be there, man, for our members within the doors, whether they're from the outside or whatever it may be, you know what I mean? But we're huge, man. The team that we have in Edinburgh and in Brownsville as well, too, and everyone that's involved with Hard Knocks in some way or form, they know that the foundation of it starts with the culture that we have within that doors, man. You have a massive group of people that work hard, get vulnerable in front of each other almost every single day, man. And that's infectious in a good sense. You know what I mean? One of our main things, man, our biggest goals, and it's in our mission statement and stuff like that, is that we're trying to create the most optimal human beings that we can. Once you walk out the doors after a 1 hour class, or whether you use the open gym or whatever it may be, man, I want you to be a better father. I want you to be a better professional. I want you to be a better friend once you walk out of those doors, man. And that's what it's about. I mean, the PRs are cool, the lifting, the technique, the form, we got you on that stuff. I always say, man, that's the easy part, man. But how do I optimize you as a human being on the outside? And that's the core of it there, And
y'all take all ages, right? Because I've seen pictures of G where like Bella is working out, right?
Yeah, so, man. She's
y'all take old men like G, so you got a wide range of people.
We take old, small, young, big, whatever, man. Whatever you got. We'll take some 6'10" dudes too. So
hey, Matt, if there's any motivation, man, to move from San Diego, which, whatever, to the Valley, so you can, become a member for Hard Knocks, man.
If I ever do move down to the Valley, I'm gonna join Hard Knocks for sure. So I definitely will.
Speaking of moving down to the Valley, okay, Rod, we like to do some fun questions, man, and I know that Matt has his his favorite wing places in San Diego. But Rod, what would your favorite wing place be here in the Valley?
Dude, hands down, man, Wing Barn.
Wing Barn, dude, that's
Wing
crazy.
Barn's the place to go to, man. Look, man, I'm a big family operated, owned type of dude, man. Mom and pop shop type place. I mean? So if I go eat wings, man, I want to be in a place that feels like a wing spot, that feels like you could go if you want to have some beers, you want to watch some football games or basketball games or whatever it may be. I could take my kids there. I could go hang out with my friends. It's just a very home type of based environment there, dude.
Nice.
The wings are great, man. I mean, the food's phenomenal, man. I mean, but that's just like I said, like alongside with the food as well too, you need that ambiance to the place, and you get it there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just for full disclosure, we did not set this up as an ad. Like, this is just because Wing Barn is one of our sponsors, but it was just so ironic that you said that, right? And so
Wing Barn's the place, man. There's one right next to Hard Knocks as well too. Actually, there's one right next to the gym in Brownsville, and we're right next door at the gym in Edinburgh. So
and you guys are not affiliated, right? So it just worked out that way.
Yeah, man.
That's funny.
That's right after a hard workout. Go get some
wings. Yeah.
Some sweet potato fries, maybe And maybe if they had like a protein, type of bar there, you can get a protein shake. Maybe we could talk to Bobby about that. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Little wing
definitely
shake,
find
bro. Little shake of wings, man.
Yeah, definitely find some synergy between the two. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely.
man,
Well, we're running kind of short on time, but I just want to say, Rod, like when G approached me about you coming on, I was like, yes, let's do it. Let's bring new blood. Let's talk. Let's tell a story, right? And I want to tell you, I'm so thankful that you're here, because hearing you tell your story and just being that family, like centered, rooted in core values, this is why you're going to be successful. And I root for you, and I wish you all the success in the world. And I know it's not going to just be one gym or two gyms. Like, you're going to have a movement. You're going to have multiple locations, and you're going to dominate. And so I wish you all the best.
And I appreciate that, man. And this is what I love to do, man. I love to spread kind of the love with it and tell the story and stuff like that, especially the community that we come from, man. I feel like there's so much more potential here when it comes to that stuff. And I love doing stuff like this. I love telling my story. So maybe a kid that listens to this, or kind of whoever it is, man, kind of gets inspired to kind of follow the same route, But I appreciate y'all very much for bringing me on today, man. G, you've been a huge part, man, in my life the past few years, especially since you joined the gym, man. And Matt, it's the first time that I meet you, man, but
yeah, I'll be a big part of your life too, man. I'm 6'10", so give him the Instagram handles again. What is it? Hard Knocks Brownsville, and what was the other one?
Edinburgh.
Hard Knocks, and that's Knox, Knox, right?
Exactly. Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that. And then
awesome.
My personal one is Hard Knocks 2012. And just like I said, if people kind of want to see the evolution of how the gym has grown and how it's evolved and stuff like that, my page, you'll see a little bit more of that. But on those other ones is where you'll see directly of what's going on at each facility.
Well, you'll definitely have Saddle Up following you from here on out, man. So we wish you all the best. G, you got anything else as we wrap up?
Just look, man, here's what Hard Knocks is like known for their workout, their playlists, that's strength and performance, CrossFit, all that, man. We have a playlist. We have a Spotify Saddle Up official
soundtrack. Yeah, we do.
Official soundtrack. Rod, you need to contribute with your favorite workout song, man, and we'll put it on that.
And we'll put it on there.
On our song.
All right, man. Well, that's an easy one, man. Metallica 1.
Metallica 1. Okay, I'm doing it right now, buddy.
That's my go-to, man, right there.
Metallica 1. You heard it here first. You can go check out the official soundtrack of Saddle Up Podcast on Spotify. Just look it up. And then all the guests that have been on, they've contributed a couple of songs. And Metallica 1 will be on the soundtrack as of today. So
yeah, buddy.
Thank you, Rod. Yeah, check it out.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you for joining us.
Appreciate y'all, guys. Thanks, Ben.
You're welcome back anytime, my man. V's up. We'll see you next week, guys.
Take care, y'all.
V's up.
Like, we weren't supposed to come up with something this clean. Like, something happened.